Hey everyone, welcome to Soulkeeper. This is the mechanics presentation, and I just want to showcase a couple of the main mechanics here for Soulkeeper. So let's go ahead and load a preview here. And the first mechanic I want to show is the actual Soul Crystal. So we see that it restores a fireball memory. So it grants an ability, brings up a UI to let you know what memory was restored, and then it disappears. So let's go ahead and just start from the beginning. So we are overlapping with a trigger sphere or sphere collision and casting to our player. And then we are checking to make sure that only the player can overlap and get this. And then after a couple seconds, 1.5 seconds or so, we are going to increment a variable on the player itself, counting how many crystals we've collected, and then this is where the fun happens. So, oh, also real quick before I move forward, it also pauses the timer. So, like if you walk in and then walk out before the time finishes to get the upgrade or new power, then the timer pauses until the player returns to that trigger sphere. All right, so I put a check in here called needs to trigger. So this, if it's true, I can trigger other events in the map, like say like opening a door or anything that needs to be triggered. And then if not, it just simply just skips that step and just changes the capture, the point light that I have in the crystal to the green color, and then we move forward. I also check to see if that crystal needs can grant an upgrade, because maybe I don't want that crystal to grant an upgrade. I simply want that crystal to trigger an event, so it would just stop here. But if it wants to give an upgrade, I created an enumeration called upgrade to grant the player different upgrades, and I used an enumeration so later on down the road I can add more upgrade paths to this crystal. So starting with the damage upgrade, this is to upgrade the melee damage of the punch attack. So we are checking if the player is valid, and we are checking if they already have a melee upgrade. And if they do, is it also less than or equal to their current power for that upgrade? So if their upgrade is less, or their current power is less than the upgrade I want to give them, then we're going to go down and we're going to upgrade the base damage on the top down player. We're going to create a widget to display what the upgrade was, and this is where I set the text of that upgrade. So where we saw like fireball memory restored, this is where I can set that text for that. And then I add it to the viewport, put a little delay in there, and then remove it from the parent. And then all the paths lead here, so I have a set timer by event, and then custom event to destroy the crystal after 1 second. So specifically for the fireball, so what we do here is we are again making sure that the player is valid. We check if they have fireball, because I don't want to upgrade the fireball if they don't have fireball. So I check to see if they even have fireball. And then if they have fireball, then I'm going to upgrade the damage and reduce the mana cost of the fireball. And then we go right back into creating the widget, setting the text, adding it to the viewport, delay, remove from parent, set timer by event. I designed this to be easily expandable. So if I want to have 10 paths for this enumeration to grant different upgrades, then it's easy to just go and add enumerators to the enumeration and then create the path and the new effect I want to create there. So that is the main level mechanic for Soulkeeper. Let's go ahead and dive into what's going on with the player a little bit. just real quick, briefly. Let's do all. Top down. That's right. Okay. So in the top down player, we have a few things happening. So here's where we're calculating the damage and updating the health bar, handling what happens when the player dies. Here's where we're actually counting the crystals for data collection later on down the road. And then this is where we're calculating total damage dealt. This is where we're actually tracking the fireball. So this is where I actually can set that variable. Do they have the fireball or not? I can set the current mana value, and then I'm playing sound effects, adjusting the damage and mana cost per fireball. So those are the main mechanics happening in Soulkeeper. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.